Today you become man and wife, fulfilling the sunnah as way of life. Today you find serenity, may your life be filled with sincerity. There is no happier day in your life than the virtue of being man and wife. There's joy without any end. Allah's blessing on this day does descend. نكاح مبارك زواج مبارك النكاح من سنتي ما قال النبي هو الصحيح.
اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. الحمد لله رب العالمين وأفضل الصلاة والتسليم على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وأصحابه أجمعين. اللهم علمنا ما ينفعنا وانفعنا بما علمتنا وزدنا علما وعملا متقبلا يا أرحم الراحمين. Oh Allah, teach us what benefit us, increase us in knowledge, in good morals, and in good deeds, Ya Arham Ar-Rahim. Welcome to all of you. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make this course a blessed course and a special course that will benefit all of us, inshaAllah. We will go right away to the course overview for all of the lectures, inshaAllah. The main topics that we will cover towards a happy marriage, inshaAllah, for those who are already married and those who, inshaAllah, will get married soon. As for those who are planning to get married another time to another wife, I have no relation to that. That's their own issue. 6 lecture course on the main topics on marriage. Every Saturday from Maghrib until Isha, except for Saturday, May 5th, it will be 9 to 10:30 a.m. inshallah. 20-minute lecture session before every lecture to prepare the hearts for knowledge. Inshallah, today we'll skip it because we were late to start. This is extremely important. I urge all of you, inshallah, to come 20 minutes, at least 20 minutes before. Today I had a lecture before the course, so we were not able to make it, but it's extremely important to prepare your heart for the knowledge, inshallah, and to be beneficial for you. All brothers and sisters are welcome to attend, especially the ones who are about to get married and the ones who are already married. If you know someone who is about to get married, it's extremely important. Wallahi, it's very important. So inshallah, encourage them to attend, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will give you the reward for everything they benefit from. No registration required, no cost for now. I don't know about the future. Q&A at the end of every lecture, inshallah. You can write it down on a piece of paper and we can answer it next time. Okay, your servant, inshallah, Abdullah Khadra. The topics to be covered. Today's lecture, inshallah. Why this course? Number 1, to please Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, because Islam calls us and because our communities suffer. What's the ruling on marriage? Is it haram? Is it mandatory? Is it preferable? What is it? What is it? We'll see. And what are the motives or the reasons for marriage? Why people want to get married? You're now a young man and you're thinking, I want to get married. Why? Or you already got married. Do you know why you got married? Do you know your spouse? Why your spouse got married? If you don't know, that's a problem. Because that will be one of the main reasons that cause your marital problems. That you did not know why you got married, you did not know your partner, why she got married to you. Lecture 2, how to prepare for marriage. Particularly we mean the psychological preparation. Marriage is a responsibility. What are the duties and the rights of every spouse? Marriage requires sacrifice, and marriage requires you to be willing to tolerate the difference of opinion. Lecture 3, how to choose your spouse. Important advice for the married ones. We'll start with it, inshallah. Then 7 qualities your future spouse, whether wife or husband, should have. 7 qualities common among the boys and the girls. Then we have 2 qualities special to the man, 2 qualities special to the woman. There must be in the woman so that you propose to her and you think to get married to her. And what about love? We'll see inshallah. Lecture 4, the engagement and the contract. Now we're coming closer to the marriage itself. What's the definition of the engagement? What is engagement? And who am I allowed to propose to? There are conditions. There are certain women, certain girls, it's forbidden to propose to them. Certain conditions, certain... What is permissible and what is not permissible during the engagement? And what are the pillars of the marriage contract? Do we have to have a sheikh to do the marriage contract? For example, of course you don't need a sheikh to do the marriage contract. You can just do it. But the sheikh, just to help you, make sure everything is there. But the sheikh is not as some people think that there must be a sheikh to do it. You can do it, brother. But I don't advise you to. What are the effects of the marriage contract? When we make the marriage contract, now what are my rights? Once the marriage contract is done, what are my contracts? And do the effects of the marriage contract begin or take effect once we write the marriage contract, or when I move her to my house? If I make the marriage contract, I'm talking about me, and then I die, will my wife inherit from me? And she's still in her parents' house. She did not move yet to my house. Will she inherit? Will she have to make iddah? All these rulings you must learn if you're about to get married. You must learn them. 8 pieces of advice between the contract and the wedding. Now we made the contract. From the contract until we make the wedding, there are 8 precious pieces of advice, inshallah, you have to know. And what about the wedding night? Is it a frightening night? Is it completely joyful night? Let's see, inshallah. Lecture 5, Solving the Marital Problems, Part 1. Introduction, why the problems? Why we're having marital problems? Benefits of the marital problems. Are there benefits? Of course there are benefits for the marital problems. You will see them, inshallah. 8 important rules to deal with the marital problems. Now before even you start solving the problem, there are rules that govern your handling of the problem. 10 important points on the family budget. What is the relationship between the family budget and the marital problems? Well, it's one of the main reasons. I want to buy this. No, we cannot buy. No, we have to now fix this. No, let's do it later. No, right? Families. One of the reasons of the marital problems is the budget. No, I don't have money now. No, you go and get some debt, get a loan, do this, right? How to organize your budget. This is part of Islam. How to organize your budget. How to spend according to the money that you earn. And very important points on saving and shopping, inshallah. Last lecture will be lecture number 6. Solving the marital problems, number 2. What to do if the problem persists. And what about divorce? When is divorce haram? Is divorce sometimes haram? Of course it is. And what is the summary? Inshallah, if Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wills, that will be, inshallah, the main topics. These are the main topics that we will cover if Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wills in this course. We can go right away to the first lecture. And before we start, we made a quick questionnaire. We did not have enough number because we published it a little bit late. We submitted it a little bit late. But also, even though we sent it like at least 200 Sheikh Zahir, 200, about 200 people or more, we did not have, except for the last number I have here of the responses is 27 responses. 27 responses. This is a group of people in our community. Okay, they're all living here in the US. As you can see here, some of them, 53% of them are married already, and 38% are single. Some of them, none of them is engaged. Some of them divorced, as you can see. Some of them remarried, divorced, remarried. The ages, as you can see, we have from 17 to 22, 29%. We have from 30 to 39. So we have different categories. We have males and females. Now, we will come to this The first motive, we'll come to this later, but before I go, I want to show you how often do you have a marital problem. 29.5 or 29.4%, they have once a month. Every month they have a marital problem. Of course, these problems sometimes end up in divorce, sometimes the children will go to custody, sometimes we have many things. We will talk about this inshallah. And how many divorces do you know in your extended family? How many divorces do you know? As you can see here, we have people who know only one case, 17%. People who know two cases, 39.1%. I know in my extended family at least 4 cases, either divorce or domestic violence or severe marital problems. So this is something that exists in our communities. Finally, did you take any course on marriage before? 52 people no, and only 2 people took that course. I don't know, maybe they mean online. Anyway, still that's better than nothing. So let's go right away inshallah to the first lecture. Why this course? Number 1, to please Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Dear brothers and sisters, there's no way to please Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala except by applying His law, except by implementing His will. Right? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala created us, as we know, as vicegerents, as trustees on this earth. He wants us to implement His will, subhanahu wa ta'ala. For what? The only reason is to make us happy, right? That is the main reason. So that we become happy, right? If we don't, we will suffer. We will have problems, and we will have difficulties, and we will have stress, and we will have divorce, and we will have children thrown out in the streets, and homeless, and children with psychological problems, and children who shoot others, and we will have these disasters if we don't follow Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's rules. The first reason, the first motive that make us attend or hold these types of courses is to make Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala happy with us. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will not be only happy with us when we only pray and fast. That is only part of Islam. That's only part. You cannot take some part of Islam and leave another part. You cannot say, oh, I'm praying, I'm fasting. No. Also, as you pray, you have to get married right. As you pray in the Islamic way, you have to get married in the right way. If you needed to divorce as the very last option, and after consultation of at least 3 trustworthy scholars, then when you divorce, there's a time and there's a way and there are consequences. You have to learn them and you have to know them. So, the first reason is to please Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. To make Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala happy with us, that we are taking Islam completely as a way of life, right? Islam is not only, as we all know, rituals, right? And we will see inshallah now that the rulings on the family constitute 5th of the Islamic law. Now you will not see any more English, so you can hear, look here, because I did not make all of the material in English, because some of the brothers, out of a sudden, they suggested the course, and I pushed myself and I prepared some material. And the basic material I'm using is one of our sheikhs in Damascus. He has a PhD in the sciences of Hadith. He's a very great scholar in Damascus, still struggling and teaching the community until this moment, and he's a dentist. He made at least 18 courses. He's the one who started these courses in Damascus, and mashallah, his course was viewed on at least 40 TV channels. 40 TV channels. The main subject, the main material is based on his lectures. May Allah reward him. He's one of our teachers and our sheikhs. So that is the main reference. Some of the brothers, they're about to get married. They requested that we suspend the halqa that we have every Saturday, every other Saturday. So it was a quick. But now inshallah, it is you who's gonna, mashallah, arrange these notes and make them in English, then make them PowerPoint so that, inshallah, we can use them and be more influential, inshallah, in the coming times. So, as we mentioned, we have to apply all of the parts of the Islamic law. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in the Quran, أَفَتُؤْمِنُونَ بِبَعْضِ الْكِتَابِ وَتَكْفُرُونَ بِبَعْضِ. You take some of the book and you leave some, so that's not the trait of the believers. When you drive a car, what do you need? You need training, right? When you drive a car, you need training. Now you're going to drive a family. You're going to drive a family. You're going to lead a family. So you must have training. You must have a course. And this course is, usually the Sheikh gives 12 lectures at least. And those 12 lectures, every lecture is 2 hours. 1 hour is workshop, then 1 hour instructional. So I squeeze them to 6 classes. Hopefully you'll see me running, but it will be recorded, inshallah, and I hope you take notes, and if you have questions, you write them down. So still, even after you take all of this course, it does not cover like 100% everything you need, but it covers really the main things that, inshallah, if you follow, you will really have a really happy marriage, and you will really know how to choose your spouse, inshallah. In Malaysia, I think, or Indonesia, the Sheikh did not mention the name of the country. If someone comes to the court to make a marriage contract, they ask for a certificate. Did you take training in marriage? Do you know what marriage is about? Marriage is not just honeymoon, right? Marriage is not as most young men and women think. It's love and comfort, right? It's absolutely not only that. It's absolutely something bigger and something more comprehensive and something very, very difficult if you don't learn about it, right? For me as an individual, as a person, I do not make the contract for any person. I made in the past, but now I took it as a pledge on myself that I don't make the contract for any person unless I test the two spouses, the two people, the boy and the girl. I test them in these main topics. If they don't pass, they have to take a course and they have to learn. I believe, personally, this is my personal opinion, we should not make the contract of any boy or girl unless they learn this. Because this is an individual obligation. Now, if I want to go to Hajj, what is the ruling of learning Hajj rules upon me? It becomes an obligation. If I don't know all of the Hajj rules because I'm not ready to go, I'm not allowed to go, okay? So now I don't have to learn all of them. But when I am ready and I'm about to go, I have to learn all of them. Same thing about marriage. If you're about to get married, you want to get married, you must learn them. It's not like, I like to learn. You have to. And you will be committing a sin if you don't. Why? Because you will violate the rules of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala because you don't know, just like someone who wants to pray without learning how to pray. Even though by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's blessings, I studied the Dawah College 4 years and I attended like almost 10 years of the classes and the lectures of our sheikhs, the late Grand Mufti of Syria and his students. Still, when I wanted to get married, I attended this course by this sheikh, may Allah reward him. And I also gave the CDs to my wife. Even though she has a bachelor in Sharia, she has a halqa, etc. Still, we have to remind ourselves. Even if you know, you have to remind yourself. And those who are married, it will be, inshallah, of a great benefit. Because this will remind you and this might draw your attention to many things that you were unaware of. So that is the first reason, dear brothers and sisters. So we have only one motive for this, to please Allah, sincerity to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, inshallah, will reward us. Another thing is, when we look at our community as an ummah, the global Muslim community, we find we have a lot of disasters, a lot of problems, a lot of killing, a lot of just now as we speak, the eastern Ghouta of Damascus is still being shelled with all types of weapons, and the world is watching. We have a lot of disasters. How can we help? You can help by applying Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's rules, by repenting to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, by learning your religion. This is an important part, because our problems and suffering as an ummah is because of our own mistakes, because of our own sins. In Damascus itself, if you go to the court, and you will see, maybe be surprised now by some statistics, at least every day you will have at least 20 cases or more of people of having marital problems and fighting because of marital problems, let alone about inheritance, let alone crime, let alone etc. etc. So we have a lot of problems, and attending such courses and learning our religion, inshallah, will help inshallah to contribute to the removal of the suffering of the ummah. The second reason, because Islam calls us to support marriage and support the family. So the first reason we are holding this, not only because some brothers requested, because we have to do it, and because Islam urges us to support the family system, the family institution. We all know the family is what? Is the main foundation in the society, in the community. If you don't have good families, you will not have good community. If you don't have strong families, you will not have strong communities, right? The Quran, at least 146 ayat, talk about marriage and family issues, about breastfeeding, about pregnancy, about divorce, about iddah, about the rights of parents, the rights of the wife and husband, many other issues. We have in the Quran some surah that are particularly about marriage. We have a whole chapter which is called An-Nisa, right? The women. We have a whole chapter about divorce, Surah Al-Talaq. The title is divorce. We have Surah Al-Baqarah, it's about someone who was righteous and obedient to his parents. We have Surah Al-Mujadila. Al-Mujadila is a woman who came to complain to Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam because her husband, he said to her, "You're like my mother." Means I'm not going to touch you, you're like my mother. So what is the ruling about that? Allah revealed ayat about that to solve that problem for that woman and to be a lesson to the coming generations. Also, the Quran gives us many examples of good families. We have the family of Sayyidina Ibrahim alayhi salam, right? We have the family examples of bad families, or families that have problems. We have the family of Sayyidina Nuh alayhi salam. Look, these are prophets, yet his wife, she was not good. Sayyidina Lut, his wife was not good. On the other hand, look at Fir'aun, the most miserable and arrogant person. His wife is one of the best women of the whole history, one of the 4 best women, even though her husband was very evil and he was a disbeliever, right? So the Quran talks to us about those people. This all shows you the importance of marriage and the importance of the family, the importance of the family issues in Islam. Now we come to the hadith. So that's in the Quran. You can see hundreds of verses is all about 146 verses is all about family and marriage. Now in the hadith we have thousands of ahadith. We have thousands of ahadith from our beloved sallallahu alaihi wasallam about marriage and about the family, about the rights of the husband and the wife and the children, etc., etc. So many rulings and so many advices from our beloved sallallahu alaihi wasallam on marriage and on the family issues. We all know the hadith from our beloved sallallahu alaihi wasallam. All of you are shepherds, and everyone is responsible for his flock, or every one of you is a guardian and responsible for those under his guardianship, right? Then he gives examples. He says the man is a guardian and responsible for his household, and he will be questioned about it. And the wife, see, the man and the wife, the husband and the wife, is also a guardian. Equality. He did not make like, he said both are, even he used the same word, the same word. And this will help us to understand when we talk about the responsibilities of the husband and the wife. The main responsibility of the husband, you will see that it's the management and the leadership of the family. And the wife has to listen. She has to be an obedient wife. It's not like in the West. No, they're equal in everything. In inheritance and in everything. And she can go anytime out of the house without his permission anywhere. No, that's not Islam. Don't worry about that. Let them say whatever they want to say. Let them say we wrong our women. Let them say we don't care about what they say. We honor our women more than any other people by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's blessings. Or at least we're supposed to, based on our religion, we're supposed to be honoring our women more than any other people. So he's using the same word, sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. For the man, you can see he's saying ra'in, right? He's saying ra'in. For the woman, he's saying ra'iya. He just the ta of the femininity, right? Ra'in and ra'iya. Same word, guardian, right? Guardian, and he's responsible, also this same word, responsible, and she is also responsible. Also just the difference is the ta of femininity. So that's only one hadith. We have so many other hadith, of course. One of them, for example, our beloved sallallahu alaihi wasallam tells us, and these hadith, we're not going to repeat them again, and we can, from these hadith, we can learn some important advices from our beloved sallallahu alaihi wasallam. How to live as a husband and wife. Like this hadith, shall I tell you of your women in Jannah? They said, yes, Ya Rasulullah. He said, every kind, gentle one, and walud, that gives children. Everyone who gives children, she gives birth to children, and she's kind and she's gentle. إِذَا غَضِبَتْ, if she gets angry, أَوْ أُسِيءَ إِلَيْهَا, or he did something wrong to her, or he got angry with her, she says, هَذِهِ يَدِي فِي يَدِكَ, my hand is in your hand. لا أكتحل بغمض حتى ترضى. I'm not going to sleep until you're happy. Allahu Akbar. This is of the women of Jannah. This is of the women of Jannah. Sometimes, wallahi, we all have mistakes. So sometimes I do something wrong to my wife. She doesn't make me sleep until I'm happy, even though I could have started, but because she learned this hadith, because she's educated, because she doesn't want to lose this privilege that Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam is mentioning. And he also, on the other hand, he encouraged us, the best of you are the best to their families. And this word, by the way, the ahlihi, this word ahl is meant in the first place the wife. The wife. This is why in the hadith you hear ata ahlahu, means he slept with his wife. So the word ahl, one of its basic meanings is the wife herself. So he's the best of you are the best to their wives, and I am the best to my wives. I am the best among you to my wife, sallallahu alaihi wasallam. We of course have in the seerah great evidences on his relationship, sallallahu alaihi wasallam. When it comes to the Islamic jurisprudence and fiqh, we find that fifth of the Islamic law, fifth of the Islamic fiqh is all about they call it al-ahwal al-shakhsiyya, the personal affairs, or means marriage, divorce, inheritance. It's all about the family issues. Fifth of the Islamic law. So if you only pray and you don't care about applying the Islamic rulings in your marriage and other things, so you lost 20 of your commitment as a Muslim, right? It's a big portion. 20%, right? Fifth means 20%, right? 20% of our Islamic law is about family issues and family rulings. So this shows you is enough proof, right? How important it is. And that's a great blessing from Allah that He gave us all these rulings. We don't need to sit and think, and every now the parliament meet and they make suggestions and they change, then they make amendment, first amendment, second amendment, right? No. Allah already gave it to you ready. Here is the Quran, here is the Sunnah, here is the Islamic law, is ready, just follow. Right? There are some issues that might come, yes, but the main things are already there. Just follow and you will be happy, inshallah. So the first reason again for holding this course is to please Allah. Second reason is because Islam calls us to support the family and to marriage and to have a great and happy marriage as we saw in the Quran and Sunnah and the Islamic law. Finally, the third reason is because our communities suffer. Because the reality urges us to have these courses. Just the other day I was called to attend the court for a Muslim family here. The wife and husband, they fought, and the neighbors heard about it, and they called the police, etc. They took the children from them. They took 3 children. One of them, 4-month-old baby. They took her, and the others, one is kindergartner, one is 5th grader, and now almost 9 months they took them. Why? Because they were fighting, and some domestic violence, or that is the main reason. Now, almost 9 months, everyone is living by himself. They're not allowing them to meet with the children. They can see the children only 2 hours every 2 weeks. And the painful thing, the mother and the father, when I asked them last time, I talked to them yesterday, she is meeting her kindergarten kid. She doesn't understand her. She lost some Arabic that she knew, and the mother doesn't know English, and the father doesn't know English. Imagine you cannot understand your child. These problems, because they did not learn. And in reality, this particular family, they did not learn. They studied maybe to the 2nd grade or 3rd grade. They got married when they were young. Doesn't mean to get married when you're young is wrong, but if you're not prepared, of course, it is very wrong. So, reality urge us and push us to do it. I have another example, non-Arab family, Pakistani family or Indian, doesn't matter. They were one country, right? Also the wife and the husband, and the wife was very, apparently, very practicing Muslim. I don't want to mention more details so that we don't expose them. They have one of their children also, he was memorizing the Quran and he's a good kid. Now he doesn't pray. After they separated, and I attended the court also for this case, and this Muslim lady, she was fabricating wrong things about Islam and saying Muslims, they wrong women, and he thinks we're not like him, whatever. So imagine we are humiliating ourselves in this society and in this community. And we're destroying the lives of our children. This child, he was memorizing the Quran, and now he doesn't pray. He's in high school, he doesn't pray now. So, as you can see, if we, now we looked at the statistics in the beginning, you saw at least once a month we have a marital problem. At least, that's the very least. And we have divorces in our families. We all know these problems. The percentage of divorce, look at these quick, what do they call this?
Statistics graph.
Look at these graphs. This is the percentage of divorce in Egypt. This is in Lebanon. See how it's going up over the years. This is in Syria. And this is in Jordan. Look, huge, it's going really up.
Is that percentage per year?
Yeah, this is, for example, in the 2010 it was 25%. But in 2014 it was like almost 29%. So these are formal statistics. Formal statistics. Look here in Damascus, for example. In 2008, it was almost 27%. It's very high percentage. 27%.
Can you mention that it's the Arabic graph, so it's the other way around?
Yeah.
It's right to left.
It's in Arabic, so it's right to left.
Yeah, so it doesn't matter. What should I do?
Just mention that.
Yeah, I'm mentioning. So this is in Damascus. This is in Damascus. In 2008, it's almost 27% in Damascus. It seems when as we're advancing in life, we're deteriorating in our family issues, which is why. You know why? That will lead us to the second reason. Look at this. Inna lillahi wa inna ilayhi raji'un. Look at this how it's going up. This is in the suburb of Damascus. So he's mentioning here one of the statistics also. We don't want to take more time, but it's enough proof that a lot of Muslim communities, whether in the Arab and Muslim countries or the non-Muslim countries, they're suffering from this problem. The first reason, or the first thing that push us to hold such courses is we have big percentage of divorce, and you know the devastating consequences of divorce. The second is the weak qualification. We are not preparing our young boys and girls to get married. We never teach them. This is a big flaw in our communities. We don't teach them. Ask, as you can see, in those 27 people, how many people took a course on marriage? 2. Among them, we have at least 10 people who are married already. So, in the past, parents, they used to educate their kids. They used to prepare them. They used to explain to them. They used to pass their experiences. Even in the how to be a housewife. How can the girl be a housewife? Like my sister, for example. I'll give you just an example. My sister, for example, when she is like maybe 7th grader, she will put the food herself. She will help her mother, and she will put the food. She will put breakfast. She know how to do this. She know how to iron. She learned these things. She is prepared and getting prepared to be a good wife. Not now, like she goes to college and she doesn't know how to prepare to cook one dish. If you get married to someone who's not very rich, you think he's gonna get you ready food every day. He cannot afford to buy ready food every day and order pizza every day. Maybe he'll get fed up with you and tell you, "Yalla, go to your family house." These are some of the problems. Believe it or not, these are some of the causes of the marital problems, on food issues, on budget issues, because there was not enough, or maybe not at all, preparation and qualification. Also, the status of the family in the non-Muslim societies is affecting our societies and communities. And we're being influenced by them. We're being influenced by them. I don't want to, he brought some statistics.
I was going to say the 50%.
Yeah, he mentioned some statistics about the non-Muslim communities. For example, the Observateur, the French newspaper or magazine, they say the percentage of people who deserted marriage is 85% in one of the years. 85%. They don't want to get married. The divorce is more than 50%. He's saying 1/3 of the children in the US, they're born out of the marriage walk, right? Out of the marriage institution. 1/3 in one of the years. So we're being influenced by the situation of the family, or the status of the family in their communities. The association that cares for the people in the prison, it says 48% of the young kids who are in the prison, of the males, and 64% of them, they are there because of family issues. Because of when there's family issues, the kids, they will not live a normal life, a psychological, healthy, they will not have psychological and healthy identity, and so they will end up doing crimes and doing problems. 70% of all people live by themselves. 70% of all people. You will never find this percentage in the Muslim countries, at least for now, alhamdulillah. You will never, but it's starting that you find some Muslim people putting their parents in the what do they call it?
Retirement home.
The retirement home. Inna lillahi wa inna ilaihi. That's a big sin. How you put your parents in a retirement home? Subhanallah. Rasulullah tells you, stick to their feet, because Jannah is in serving them. Then you put them in a retirement home. So Islam saves us. Islam saves us, but we have to stick to it. Sometimes there might be exceptional. We're talking about the general case, okay? Sometimes there might be some exceptions. He lives by himself. He has to go to work. Okay? We're talking about the general rule. Almost 10 million women in Britain, they take care of their kids by themselves. 10 million women. 50% of the births in Britain are illegal, out of illegal marriages. So this is for them, they don't care. 70% of American women, they feel about worry and concern because of the marital problem. So, in brief, dear brothers and sisters, as you can see, we as part of this society, we're being influenced. Not because they have this, because we're trying to imitate them in so many issues. And the other thing, they're targeting us. This is the fourth point. They're targeting the family institution in so many issues. In many of they make conferences to do what? Equality between boys and girls. They have to inherit the same. They have to own the same. Also, the man has to work at home. It's not only the woman the wife who has to work and wash the dishes. Also, the man has to do it. Oh, really? Then who's gonna bring the food for the family? Both of them, they have to work. Okay, who's gonna raise the kids? But them, come on. So they're going against the very nature of the human beings that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala created us with. This is why you have all these devastating statistics. Of course, let alone the targeting our young men and women through pornography, through different types of indecency and non-modesty. All these we have to be aware of. They're targeting our Islamic law. They're targeting our rulings to the extent some Muslims they're even embarrassed to mention the word Sharia. Sharia or Islamic law, or even though it's a great honor and it's the greatest and the best law, how not? And it's Allah's law, yani. Subhanallah. Yet we started feeling sometimes that we have to imitate them, or we have to compromise. That is unacceptable in any way, and that will devastate our institutions and our families more and more. This is a quick statistic graph. It shows the doctor, he made it on his website. The people who said they need, or we as Muslims need courses on marriage very urgently, is how much? Almost 78%. 78% of people who participated in this questionnaire, they said it's very urgent to make courses on marriage. The others who said it's very necessary, it's almost 10%. So 78. So we, alhamdulillah, yani aware of this. So that is why this course. That is the first topic that we covered. Why this course? Again, to please Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, because Islam calls us, and because our communities suffer. We mentioned how we're suffering, targeting our families, the devastating statistics about the non-Muslim communities, the big percentage of divorce in the Muslim communities, and the weak qualification in the Muslim communities for the people who are about to get married. Now, what is the ruling? What is the ruling of marriage? Now, do I have to get married, or it's preferable, or what is the ruling? What is the ruling of getting married? Marriage in Islam, as the scholars mentioned, it takes the 5 rulings. It might be obligatory on you, it might be preferable, it might be permissible, it might be disliked, it might be forbidden on you. So how do we know these rules? It depends on the person and on his status. We're going to mention very quickly, but before that, we have some very important points on how Islam calls us for marriage. We're going to delay this because it needs more explanation, but let's take the rulings of marriage. So the first one is mandatory. Who's mandatory? On who is it mandatory to get married? Anyone has an idea? Every young man and woman who are afraid about themselves. They're afraid about themselves. 5 minutes?
Yeah.
5 minutes. They're afraid about themselves. And they're ready. They prepared. They're ready to get married. They must get married. Why? Because they're afraid about themselves from the sin. So for those people, it's an obligation to get married. Okay? So the scholars agree, if you're afraid about your chastity, if you're in a situation where you need to get married, then it's an obligation on you to get married, but you have to do what? You must prepare yourself. You must have the financial, physical, and psychological readiness. Financial, physical, and psychological readiness. We will have one whole lecture on the psychological preparation. One whole lecture on the psychological preparation. Of course, our beloved Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam told us, oh young men, whoever is ready to get married and can afford getting married and is ready to get married, then he should get married because it protects him, protects his chastity. We have ayat in the Quran, of course. Now, if someone he's not afraid, he likes to get married, but he's not afraid about himself, and he's ready to, so in his regard, it is preferable. It's not mandatory, it's preferable. He's very encouraged to get married. If someone is not interested, he doesn't see interest to get married, then it's permissible for him, but some scholars, they say no, because sunnah, it's more to get married. Now, on who is it forbidden to get married? Anyone has an idea? If someone he's certain when he gets married he's not gonna fulfill the needs of his wife. He knows he's not gonna fulfill her need. It's haram on him to get married. Or he's not ready. He's not prepared. He's afraid he's not gonna fulfill her right. Then it's haram on him to get married. Then what should he do? He should prepare himself and be ready to get married. So these are the rulings every young man and woman should know. Do I have to get married? And what is the ruling of getting married in regard with my situation? Inshallah, next time we will not take more because now Salat al-Isha. I was planning to talk about the motives for marriage. Who's willing to take 15 minutes or 20 minutes? I think we need 20 minutes after Isha, so that we keep following the schedule. Let me raise your hand. Don't be embarrassed. Those who are willing to, so that we can follow the schedule. Okay, so alhamdulillah, so the majority can continue. So we can take the last part, inshallah, which is the motives for marriage. This is the foundation for solving many of the marital problems. You have to know what is your motive and your spouse's motives. What are your needs and what are her needs? Before you get engaged, you should know and talk to her, and we will see inshallah after salah how you can know what are her motives and how she can know your motives. Both of you know the motives and the needs of everyone, so that inshallah you try during your marital life to do what? Fulfill those motives and needs for them. That will make it a happy marriage, inshallah. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make us of those who listen to the speech and follow its best. Jazakumullah khairan. If you have a question, write it down on a piece of paper and you can get ready for salah. Sallallahu ala sayyidina Muhammad wa alhamdulillahi rabbil alamin. Alhamdulillahi rabbil alamin wa afdalus salatu wa taslim ala sayyidina Muhammad wa ala alihi wa ashabihi ajma'in. So inshallah the last subtopic in today's lecture is what are the motives or the reasons for marriage? What are the motives or the reasons for marriage? This is extremely important for what? it's extremely important for you to understand, to identify exactly why you're getting married, so that you can also explain to the other part, to your partner, to explain to her, to try to reveal to her your motives, and also to know from her. So both of you have to know each other's motives for marriage. Any action has a motive behind it. And knowing this is extremely essential. As you can see, the last two lectures are about marital problems. But from the very first lecture, and particularly this very topic is a foundation to help us identify and solve the marital problems. Most of the marital problems take place because they don't know the needs of each other. They don't know the motives of each other. So consequently, they don't fulfill them. Now some people, they don't like to reveal. They don't like to speak. They don't like to say it. Then they just make up any problem. They make up another problem, but in fact, the main problem is they did not fulfill that need for which they got married. Now, in this questionnaire, as you can see, so we asked, what is your main motive, or was your main motive for getting married? The first one, which was selected the most, 23%, 85.2%, because I want to protect my chastity and to avoid the haram or the forbidden way. That is very natural, very correct, very natural, very correct. That most of us, we get married to protect ourselves from the haram way, to fulfill the desire that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala put in us, to fulfill the desire that Allah wants us to fulfill, but in the right way. The second motive, 74.1%, because Islam urges me to do so and I like to follow my religion. So it's because religious reason, means because Islam urges me, so I want to do it. I want to do it. Why? We will see now how Islam urges us. Then comes the third motive, which is 74%, because I need to be cared for and loved and embraced by a spouse. The need for love. Some spouses, the main motive for them is that they need to be loved. You need to always show them that you love them, you care for them, you're with them, right? They don't only need the physical need. And that's very true in so many cases. Then we have, because I want to become a parent, again, so many young girls, particularly, of course, young girls more, they get married because they have always dreamt to carry a baby, right? Their toys, you see they're carrying the baby since they're very young. Who is this? This is my baby, right? So they have this, and Allah put this natural, right? So that this life continues. After that we have, because of family and relatives and community urging. Because the community keeps telling, Yalla, come on, get married, Yalla, we want to see you, a father, having a child. So they keep pushing, and this is very good and very healthy. This is very good and very healthy if you do it right. So there are other motives. Someone said, completing half of my faith. This is part of the religion again. To increase the ummah, again, hopefully good quality. Okay, we do care about the quality. So that's another religious reason. Raise a family, religious reason. Between me and Allah, okay. He wants to keep it a secret. There are reasons we don't know. So if we put these motives in order, may Allah reward him, Brother Naveed, he gave me the percentage. So we found number one motive, which is 33%, is the religious motive. So most people, even I'm gonna the results in the questionnaire Dr. Sha'al made is the same. The religious motive is the most is the clearest motive, or the most motive that urges the Muslim young men and women to get married, 33%. Then we have to protect chastity, which is the sexual motive, is 29%. Then the family urging and community urging is 8%. Then to be loved and cared for, 21%. Of course, this is number 3. Then we have to become a parent, 8%, and the family urging and community urging is 8%. So as you can see, the religious motive is number 1. And this is a blessing from Allah, that our religion urges us. And how those who have this motive, alhamdulillah, that's great. Now, if you don't have this motive, you need to pay attention to the following ahadith, so that you strengthen this motive for you. You strengthen this religious motive so that you get married. Why? Because it will make more meaning to your marital life and to your marriage. It will make more meaning. It will make more sense. You will feel more happy. You know why? Because you will know you're fulfilling these rewards. Rasulullah said, sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, for example, a dinar that you spend for the sake of Allah, means for jihad, defending your country. A dinar, a gold coin you spend to free a slave. A dinar you spend to an orphan, not an orphan, a needy person. And one you spend for your family. The most rewardable one is the one you spend on your family. Narrated by Imam Muslim. He said also, sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, that when the Muslim spends, he will get the rewards. Even when you spend for your family, you're getting the rewards for every penny you put, even the mouthful or the bite of food you're putting in your wife's mouth. Even the bite of food you're putting in your wife's mouth. And there's a very, very nice indication here. He's urging you, put food in her mouth, right? Not just eat. Take a bite of food, put it in her mouth. This brings the love more and more. Like your beloved sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he will see, where did she drink from in the cup? He will drink from the same place she drank. She put her mouth on. Allahu Akbar. He's teaching us romance. He's teaching us love. He's the greatest lover, sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, and he has the greatest and the most successful love story. Sayyidina Muhammad, sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. He got married to Sayyidah Khadija, 25 years, she was 40. They lived 15 years. He never got married to another woman in her life. All of his children, except for one, from her. After her passing away, he kept that love. In the conquest of Mecca, when all people are coming to the Prophet ﷺ and congratulating him and seeking his dua, he left all people and he sat with an old lady aside. And he took his abba, his cloak, and he put it on the floor. For who? For an old lady. Who was she? They said, who's she? He said, she was the friend of Khadija. The friend of Khadija. The friend of my wife. We are remembering the days of Khadija. That is our beloved sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. That is the true love, the sincere love. So when you put the mouthful or the bite of food in her mouth, that's sunnah and you're getting reward. And when you also hear, when some men, they thought that Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam was forgiven for everything. He doesn't even make mistakes and he guaranteed Jannah. But for us, we're sinful. So one of them said, I'm not going to get married to women at all. I'm just going to dedicate my life to worship. Another man, he said, I'm not going to eat any meat, etc. Rasulullah heard about them, sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, as in the authentic hadith narrated by Imam Bukhari and others, and he said, sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, I heard some people said so, and by Allah, I am the one who fears Allah most among you. And I am the most pious among you. He's teaching them, sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. But I fast and also break my fast. Some of them, they wanted only to fast. I fast and I break my fast. And I marry women. And I eat. I pray at night and I sleep sometime. And I marry women. And whoever turns away from my sunnah does not belong to me. Whoever turns away from my sunnah does not belong to me. So, very, very great rewards Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and His Messenger sallallahu alayhi wa sallam are telling us, encouraging us to push us and urge us to get married. Very nice hadith from Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Whoever takes care of 3 daughters and educate them and raise them right, until they reach maturity, they will be a shield for him from the hellfire. They will be a shield for him from the hellfire. In another authentic narration, narrated by Imam Muslim, he said, sallallahu alayhi wasallam, whoever takes care of two daughters until they reach puberty, and he takes care of them, I will enter, or he will be with me like these. He will be with me like these. So, not only be protected, not only enter Jannah, you will be with him, sallallahu alayhi wasallam. Imagine what a great reward. Well, this is why most Muslims, they want to achieve all those great rewards. Taking care of daughters, even in some of the hadith, one of the Sahaba said, Ya Rasulullah, what if she is only one daughter? He said, even if she's one. Even if she's one, even if you take care of one daughter, and you raise her up in the right way, and you educate her, you will get Jannah, inshallah. So many other hadith, we cannot cover all of them. If the woman, now this is from the men's side, what about the woman? Rasulullah said, sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, إِذَا صَلَّتِ الْمَرْأَةُ خَمْسًا, if the woman prays her 5 prayers, and fast her month, means Ramadan, and protect her chastity, and obey her husband, this is a word that girls, they need to learn, they need to hear a lot, they need to prepare themselves, because they are supposed to obey their husbands, because the husbands are the leaders of the family. This is the general case. Some exceptions, there are some exceptions. Among my relatives, my aunt is the leader of the family. Why? Because she is more mature. Mentally, she is more mature. That's an exception. The general rule is what? The men are the ones who are in charge. Okay? So, if she obeys her husband, she will enter Jannah. She will enter Jannah. And one time, a woman came to Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. She said, Ya Rasulullah, the men, they took everything. They attend Jum'ah, they attend Jama'ah prayer, they go to jihad, everything. What about us? What will we get? He said, sallallahu alayhi wasallam, in the authentic hadith, when you take care of your husband, you will get the reward of all that. You will get the reward of all that. Just take care of your husband. Take care of your children, take care of your house. That is the encouragement of Islam to men and women to get married. So as you can see, the religious motive is very strong among us. Alhamdulillah, this is a blessing from Allah. So the young men and women who are ready to get married, financially, psychologically, and physically, and they learned about marriage and the rulings of marriage, they have to get married. If they are afraid about themselves from the sin, they have to do it. If they're not afraid about themselves, they're very encouraged to do it. Okay? Now, if someone is afraid about himself but he is unable to do it, what should he do? Allah tells us, وَلْيَسْتَعْفِفِ الَّذِينَ لَا يَجِدُونَ نِكَاحًا حَتَّى يُغْنِيَهُمُ اللَّهُ مِنْ فَضْلِهِ. Very important ayah. Those who do not find the capability to get married, let them have iffah. Let them have chastity. Let them protect themselves. Let them show patience until Allah honors them and gives them from His grace, from His blessings. You have no option. And Rasulullah gave us the way, sallallahu alayhi wasallam. He said, if you, all young men, if you can get married, get married. If you cannot, stick to what? Fasting. Because it will help you to lower your gaze and protect your chastity. So, that is the only way. For the young men and women who are not capable of doing that, they have no option but to show patience. Some Sahaba, as in the authentic hadith, they came to Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. They told him, Ya Rasulullah, do you permit us to make khisa? Means to cut off the sexual organs. To cut off the sexual organs so that we don't struggle with this and we just dedicate for worship. He didn't, sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. He rejected. He did not allow them to do so. So anyway, you fulfill that desire other than marriage, you're doing the haram way. You're disobeying Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And a very, very precious advice the Shaykh gave and all of our Shaykhs give. the more chaste you are before you get married, the more happy you will be when you get married. That's from the rules of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. I'll give you a very quick example. When we were young, most of us, we go to the kitchen and we break our fast when no one sees us. Then we come at Maghrib as if we're fasting, right? But when you do this, right? When everyone is breaking their fast and they're very happy, and you are eating and you know you're not fasting, how do you feel? Do you feel the joy they have? You don't. Same thing. If you fast right, you will break your fast right. Okay? If you truly fast, you will enjoy your breakfast, your futur. Okay. So that is the first motive. The second motive, that is the religious motive. Yes, the second motive is what? As for this ayah, Surah An-Nur, ayah 33. The part of the ayah that I told you that the young men should show iffah and protect themselves. And by the way, doctor, he made a special course on iffah, how to protect yourself, how to protect your chastity. And when I was in Syria, I made a whole halqa, like 30 classes, how the young men can protect themselves. It is very important and very comprehensive. It depends on clothing, it depends on looking, it depends on rules with the other gender. All these you have to learn them so that you don't fall in the problem, then you say, I cannot help myself. No, you have to learn from the beginning to avoid unnecessary mixing with the other gender, to avoid looking at the other gender for no need, to avoid all those videos and movies and pictures, etc., etc. When you avoid all that, inshallah you can, and you stick to fasting, you have a majlis of dhikr, circle of knowledge, good company, Allah will protect you as He is protecting these young men and women. But if you're not doing any of that, and you keep movies and mixing with girls and going and coming, how can you protect yourself? You will not be able to. So may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala protect us. There are ways and means that you have to follow in order to protect your chastity. So the second motive is the sexual motive. This is, as we mentioned, very natural thing that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala put in us so that this life will continue, right? And we mentioned, you have no choice. If you're ready, you have to get married. You're not ready, you have to show patience until Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala helps you to get married. That is, as I mentioned, in itself it needs a whole course and is very important. Now, the religious motive, if it's not there in you, it's in everyone. But if it's weak, try to strengthen it. Try to learn more. Now I just gave you, like, as you can see, right? I'm giving you just like some flash lights, just some scenes, right? There's much more. So try to strengthen this. And also when you're proposing to someone, you're talking to her, try to see her religious background. Try to understand, is she concerned about all this? Does she want to get these rewards? If not, try to encourage her. So that when you have more than one motive, then you will have some balance. Okay? You will be more interested, more happy, because you're having many things and you're fulfilling many. If this motive is not fulfilled like 100%, I have another motive. Do you understand? Like if I'm not feeling 100% happy on the bed, let's say, still there is, like, let's say 80%, still I'm providing food, I'm getting reward, I'm protecting myself, I'm getting these rewards. You see the point? So it's very important to strengthen the religious motive in you and in your spouse. The other thing, why it's important to know that the other part has this motive or no. When you get married, if your religious motive was the main one, then this means you're a religious person. So if you are religious and your wife doesn't know this, and you used to attend like a halqa, a circle of dhikr every Saturday, and she doesn't care, and she starts telling you, no, you don't have to go, come, let's stay, then now she is stopping you from your nature, from something that you are used to. This causes some problems. On the other hand, the wives, some girls, mashallah, they're committed, they used to read Quran, then the husband comes, yalla, stop reading, now you read later, you read in Ramadan, now stop praying, you keep praying, come now, let's go here, let's... If he doesn't understand that his wife, she's committed, she has these religious commitment, and if he doesn't know this and doesn't help her, that will cause problems, right? She is religious, she has grown up all the time, she reads some Quran every day, she prays some rakat before Fajr, etc. Then you come and you want to stop everything, that will cause problems. So knowing the religious motive is extremely important for both partners. The sexual motive, if you don't have it at all, it might be a healthy problem. It might be a healthy problem, okay? The sound people, they have this desire which is normal. You have to put it the right way, to use it the right way. Again, as you saw, the second most motive in all statistics is the sexual motive. If you do not fulfill this motive or this need for your spouse, there will be problems. And wallahi, many, a big percentage of the problems between wives and husbands is because of this. He doesn't care. He doesn't care. But she needs, or she needs, and he doesn't care. He needs, she doesn't care. They both have to care. They both have to understand this is a natural need that everyone has. Not only this. They have to learn how to not to be boring, how to invent new ways to make the partner interested, to make him happy, right? This in itself, we cannot explain it more. Also, you have to learn it. There are trustworthy people who wrote some books on this. You have to learn. You have to learn. It doesn't make sense you come to your wife with smelly clothes and with a smell and you want her to come and hug you, right? If you have some spouses, they have a problem in their mouth, so they have a smell. That causes problems. Wallahi, the Sheikh said in his course, he knows a couple, they separated because of this problem, smell. He doesn't care. He thinks, khalas, mashallah, she will love him no matter how he is, she will love him and hug him. And no. So you have to be aware of this motive and try to fulfill it and try to be creative and try to be balanced and try, if you have some weaknesses, go to the doctor and check, etc. Number 3, which is, as we saw, it was almost 70%, is the motive of parenthood. Young men, they want to have children. If you don't understand and agree with your spouse before getting married, tell her, I want children from the first year. From the first 6 months, I want children, I love children. Or if she tells you, you have to agree on this. You're not allowed, she's not allowed to use contraceptive pills or any contraceptive means without his approval, without the husband's approval. Also from her side, if she doesn't approve, also he is responsible. Allah will bring him to account. She can raise her issue to the court. The best thing is to agree from the beginning. We want, let's say, after 1 year. So if some women, they want kids, they want children, and he doesn't want. He says, I have to study, I have to complete my studies, let's wait 3 years. She will not wait. What will she do? She will start fabricating some problems, making up some problems, right? And you will end up in divorce, right? So you have to be aware of this, and you have to agree on this, and talk about this. To organize the birth is allowed in Islam, but to cut it completely is forbidden. To organize, like we want 2 children, like we want one child every 2 years, if Allah wills, etc. That's fine, permissible. But To cut it completely, it's forbidden in Islam. To say, let's take the womb or let's take the ovaries, right? It's forbidden in Islam to do so. So that is the parenthood motive. As for the sexual motive, very important advice from Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam that shows us this is important. He's saying, if a woman is called for her husband, she has to respond even if she is on she's baking the bread. Even if she's baking the bread, she has to answer him. You see, this is one of the main needs in the marriage and the main purposes, right? So she has to listen, and Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam in the authentic hadith, this is very important for the girls to understand and for the boys to understand before they get married. Before, any woman who sleeps deserting her husband, the angels will curse her until the morning. Narrated by Imam Bukhari and Muslim, means very authentic. If she sleeps deserting her husband, not caring about him, and he needs her, the angels will curse her until the morning. Of course, there are exceptions, right? Someone is sick, also you have to be appreciative, you have to be caring, you have to be considerate, right? So those are exceptions that we know. Sayyidina Umar radiallahu anhu, we know, he asked his daughter, Sayyidah Hafsa radiallahu anha, he told her, how much can a woman stand, for how long time? She said 4 months or 5 months. Then you know what he did? He commanded all of the commanders of the Muslim armies that no man can stay more than 5 months. Every 5 months he must have a permit to go to his family. Subhanallah, this is religion, shabab. This is our Islam. It's not only how to pray, how to fast. This is the religion of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that we have to hold fast to. So, we said the religious motive, right? And the sexual motive, and the parenthood motive. What else? The one that had almost 70% or 60% also is what? The psychological motive. The need for love. The need to be cared for. The need to be embraced. So many women and men, boys and girls, they get married just because they have seen all these movies and songs and love. They want to be loved. So if you don't understand, you don't figure out this motive in your partner, you will not succeed, because you will not fulfill this need for her. If you just eat and drink and sleep with her, and khalas, the whole day you don't even think to send her a message. In the engagement period, oh my God, like every day like 2 hours, and every like 1 hour messages and everything. After he got married, khalas, there's nothing. He's just eating, drinking, sleeping, and that's it. No, she doesn't need food or drink or sleep. She likes to hear words of love. She likes to be shown that you're caring for her, that you still love her. So keep using the good words, keep sending her some messages. This is very, very important. The need for love is very essential. And we know our beloved sallallahu alaihi wasallam, when he was asked from Sayyidina Amr ibn al-As, who do you love most, Ya Rasulullah? He said, Aisha. Imagine what was the feeling of Sayyidah Aisha when she heard that. When they told her, Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, in front of all people, they asked him, who do you love most? He said, you. Imagine her feeling, her joy and her happiness. And he said it in front of everyone, sallallahu alaihi wasallam. The other one is the need for appreciation and respect. That is also important.
As you walk together hand in hand, Allah has given you a companion and friend to stand and always be seen as man and wife, fulfilling the deen. From this day on, forever be true. Cherish this life that's destined for you. Live your life with kindness and care. Remember, Allah will always be there, be there. Nikahun mubarakun, zawajun mubarakun.